Hey everybody, it's Rich Tola, and thanks for tuning in to Tola Talks. If you want to learn more or see all the past shows, check out my website, richtola.com, or find me on social, @RichTola. Well, let's get started with some celebrity birthdays today. 41, Tyra Banks. Happy birthday to Tyra, supermodel actress. How about this? Jay-Z, one of my favorite rappers of all time. He's 45 today, a.k.a. Hove, or Sean Corey Carter. He was born. Legendary rapper, record producer. You guys know he's got 19 Grammys under his belt. He sold over 75 million records to date. By the way, yesterday we were talking about Britney Spears. Give a shout out to Britney today. I said sold over 1 million. Well, she sold over 100 million. So let me make that correction. But yeah, Jay-Z is estimated net worth of $520 million by Forbes this year. We know that he married Queen Bee, Beyonce, and he has a little girl, Blue Ivy Carter, from 2012. Have a shout out to Jay-Z. By the way, Jay-Z actually spent some time in Trenton, New Jersey, my hometown. He went to Trenton Central High School. Don't think he graduated there, but yeah, he's known to kind of roam those parts. I know some guys that knew him back in the day. That was late 80s. Yeah, how about this? Marissa Tomei is 50 today, the big 5-0. I love her. Everybody knows her, the Academy Award winning actress from My Cousin Vinny. I mean, one of the funniest movies of all time with Joe Pesci. Love that movie. She also has 2 other nominations for In the Bedroom 2001 and then The Wrestler 2008 with Mickey Rourke, another great film. She's actually been on the scene for 20 years now. In 1984, she premiered her first film was The Flamingo Kid. Yeah, remember that? She played Mandy, and she was also on the soap opera As the World Turns. So she started getting those film roles at the age of 30. Pretty cool. She looks awesome. Happy birthday to you, Marissa Tomei. All right, let's go around the globe for the latest news because there's some wacky stuff going on here, that's for sure. We're calling this one Open Wide. Anybody see this? The Discovery Channel this Sunday in 3 days is going to be airing this guy, Paul Rizzoli, another New Jerseyan, 27 years old. He's going to be eaten by an anaconda. Well, he already was. I mean, what are we talking here? He's all about the Amazon, you'll see, and he's doing this stunt in which he's dressing in a suit of shining armor. Well, it's not really shining, but it's a carbon fiber, and he's going to douse himself with pig's blood to entice this green anaconda to swallow him whole. I don't know. You got to check it out. It's kind of eerie, but he does convince the anaconda to do it. Get a little bit of resistance over here from the animalists, we call them. They don't want them to hurt the snake. So change.org, you know, that site. We talked about that in previous shows. They got 37,000 people to sign a petition to protest it. The PETA Foundation, People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, they're kind of all over the Discovery Channel saying you shouldn't be showing this because it's stressful to the snake. Who cares? I mean, my opinion is it's this huge anaconda. It's going to recover. The guy wants to do this, but the executive producer, Michael Sorensen from Discovery, says, quote, "It's probably one of the most suspenseful shows we've ever produced, and it's a really scary ride." Yeah, no kidding. Well, this guy Rizzoli, he's written a book about the Amazon called The Mother of God. I mean, he's all about protecting the Amazon, drawing awareness to it. Let me quote him. He says, "The whole thing is tied into the idea that the Amazon needs to be studied and protected." Yeah, that's what he thinks. Anacondas are such an awe-inspiring giant and visual animal. Talk about visual. Hey, buddy, over there, Rizzoli, you want some good visuals? Go to the internet and check out Jennifer Lawrence nude. That's what I say. Oh, my God. Talk about a gimmick. Yeah, speaking of gimmicks, how about this next story? This is kind of interesting. You know, there's over $50 million spent on the Black Friday and the Black Friday weekend and all the shoppers. So what are these stores doing to entice shoppers to spend more? Well, check it out. Bloomingdale's up in Palo Alto, California, right? The Silicon Alley folks. They have iPads in their fitting rooms. We're talking fitting rooms here. iPads to request different sizes. Yeah, in Rebecca Minkoff's new store in New York City, she's got a 122-inch screen TV that can help shoppers pick out new outfits. And Diesel, I got one of the Diesel watches on today. They're experimenting with the social media factor, and they're letting folks actually take pictures and share their photos with their friends to choose on what it is they want to buy. That's kind of interesting. And how about this? It's called RFID, Radio Frequency Identification Technology. where they're putting these little chips in clothes now. I check this out. And this was a survey done by Synovate Phillips. It's a lighting company. Talk about fitting rooms. And they said that the number one complaint from 65,000 people surveyed was the fitting room. They complained about fitting rooms, and that's why they didn't spend as much. Well, they believe by making a panoramic view of like a mountaintop or a beach, if you're putting on a bathing suit, those RIFDs will pick up and trigger a response so that it'll be panoramic at the beach and maybe getting you to spend more money. I don't know. This think tank in Germany called Future Initiative says this is where the purchase is made, in the fitting room. You think? I don't know about this, but we're talk about a bucket list. I don't know, but that's the latest craze, so check it out. Fitting rooms, they might make people nervous, they say, because if they're kind of creating these panoramic views, what else are they looking into? I don't really know. Let's move on to the next story. I'm calling this Sorry, Charlie. You guys hear about Orion? Right, this is the new spacecraft that's going to shoot up into space. It's going to go 36,000 miles, right? And it's going to come back. It's going to orbit the Earth twice. It was supposed to launch from Cape Canaveral, Florida today. Did not. Had some issues. They're going to try again tomorrow. Again, it's going to orbit the Earth twice, and then it's going to come back. Why is it going to do this? Because it's testing, because this spaceship is going to take you to Mars. Well, they're saying astronauts will be able to go into these ships in 2021, and we're not going to be sending people to Mars until 2030. But they're trying to see if we can have people inhabiting Mars. I mean, they found that there might be some water on Mars, and it might be the next bastion for people to live. I don't know. I got a buddy of mine, Anaje, give a shout out to Anaje, who's in the running for one of the guys going to Mars to colonize Mars. Problem is he's not coming back, but yeah, so much for that. But the key to this spaceship is they're going to send it out, and it's going to come back, and it's going to endure 4,000 degrees of heat, which is 2 times hot lava. So they're trying to make this ship so that it endures, a spaceship so that it endures the heat and the speed. It's going to travel at 20,000 miles per hour. Pretty expensive, though, to the tune of $370 million, and it's going to take 4.5 hours. By my calculations, that's about $82 million an hour. Pretty pricey, but they have the money. So there you go. On that note, let's move on over to the Get Your Shit Together word, because today is Thursday. You guys know it's Throwback Thursday. We're throwing back to 1989. But before we get to that, let me go through the Get Your Shit Together word, because this one here had some trouble this morning because I wasn't sure who to give it to, but we're going to make it a tie. Check this out. It's a tie between 2 young bozos. This guy, 21 years old, Marvin Tremaine Hill II. Okay, what does he do? His wife, who's pregnant, wakes him up at 1 o'clock in the morning holding a McChicken sandwich, right? Talk about McWacko. She had a McChicken sandwich, and the guy domestically, beat her with the chicken sandwich. So he took the chicken, started beating it with it, picked up the bun, and now he's being brought up on charges of domestic violence. So, but there's a tie between this bozo, the 21-year-old. What's he doing hitting his wife with food? That's ridiculous. Whatever. I mean, she's pregnant. But this guy here, Daniel Micah Soto, 22-year-old guy. This is up in San Francisco, Golden Gate Bridge, right? Check it out. He's in his Ford Mustang. Somehow or another, he cuts to the right. He's going to cross the bridge. He cuts to the right. He goes through a barrier. He goes 400 feet, and he gets stuck on the pedestrian crossing bridge, which is a fence and the bridge. I mean, this is where people ride their bikes, and he's jammed in there with his car. Well, go figure. They tested him for a DUI. He's probably going to get a DUI. So I think we're going to give this an even tie between Mr. Soto, the 22-year-old bozo who got his car stuck on the bridge, and the 21-year-old Marvin over there who start beating his wife. That's ridiculous. So you people, you got to get your shit together. That's it. Clean and simple. And on that note, let's move on to the highlights of 1989. By the way, I'm going to a comedy show tonight to see Joe Taylor. He's going to be rocking it, comedian. So we're going to do an interview with him, hopefully while he's performing or before or after. So check it out for tomorrow. Start adding interviews to the show. Should be a lot of fun. But let's go back. What happened in 1989? Well, we know that Ronald Reagan in the United States, Ronald Reagan was the outgoing president. George Bush Sr. came in January. Yeah, what else? Scientists pronounced 1989 the warmest year on record. Talk about global warming, right? Greenhouse effect. We talked about that yesterday. Yeah, you want to check out all the shows? Check out my website. Also, the rich pics are there. What else? 1989, the first release of Microsoft Office. You know, the bundling of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all that. That came out. Yeah, the U.S. government bailed out 1/4 of all savings and loans to the tune of $150 billion. I mean, I remember that because in 1989, I graduated grad school from Kellogg School at Northwestern University, went to work for Drexel Burnham Lambert, the junk bond king, or the high yield bond firm. And I remember that was kind of an interesting year. It was also the same year that the earthquake hit, 6.9 magnitude earthquake hit up in San Francisco. Remember this? It was on, October 17th. It took, it took them a while. Yeah, it was on the 17th, and then 10 days later they resumed because the earthquake caused some damage. I remember that. It was Game 3. It was Oakland A's. Well, Oakland swept San Francisco Giants that year, but it was Game 3. Just minutes into the game, the earthquake hit, and, all hell broke loose. So that was 1989. What else? Remember the car Yugo? They called it the Mona Lisa of bad cars. It's ranked as one of the top 50 bad cars of all time. Well, the Yugo went bankrupt. It was around from 1975 to 1989. Yeah, what else happened in car land? Ford bought Jaguar, and Toyota launched the Lexus. Yeah, that was 89. Remember Ayatollah Khomeini, wacko? He issued a fatwa, a death sentence, to the British writer Salman Rushdie for his satanic verses. Yeah, what else? The Nintendo released the Game Boy. That was the handheld gaming system. That came out. Remember Exxon Valdez? It was an oil tanker. It became grounded in Alaska's Prince William Sound. I mean, it released 11 million gallons of crude oil. It affected 1,000 miles of coastline, and 25 years later, it's still being felt, the devastation on the wildlife. So, yeah, that was in 89. Also in 89 in Egypt, the 4,000-year-old mummy was found in the Great Pyramids of Giza. You got it. And how about in Vegas? The Mirage Casino, Hotel and Casino opened up in Las Vegas. The developer Steve Wynn. It's owned by MGM Resorts International. Polynesian theme with 3,044 rooms. Major at its time. It was the greatest at its time. Things have changed a bit. How about Ted Bundy? Remember that wacko serial killer? He confessed to killing at least 30, probably more, raped. I mean, he was a total wacko. He was executed in Florida. Got the death chair. He got the electric chair. And speaking of death, hundreds were killed in Tiananmen Square. Remember, China issued martial law in Beijing with the Tiananmen students occupying Tiananmen Square. There was thousands of them. There was that the picture of the tank and that was a sad time. I mean, 89 was an interesting year. It was the same year that the Berlin Wall came down, right? 30 years that the Cold War ended between East and West Germany. And what else was happening? Let's give you some figures. Inflation was only 4.83%. The Dow Jones, which is, who knows, right? We're at 18,000. It closed at 2,753. Yeah, your average monthly rent was $420. A postage stamp was 25 cents, right? A gallon of gas was 97 cents, which, by the way, in some places it's dipping below $2, I hear. Yeah, a new car. You could buy a new car for $15,000. You could buy a new BMW 325i. I owned one of those. I owned a white one at one point. You could buy that for $21,400. Yeah, average income was $21,450. About the same price of a new BMW. And average cost of a new home was $120,000. What was going on in pop culture? Yeah, let's get to this. Yeah, Academy Award for the best film. We did mention this yesterday. Driving Miss Daisy. Also, Jessica Tandy won for Best Actress, so she was awesome. And Best Actor was Daniel Day-Lewis in My Left Foot. And Best Director, Oliver Stone, Born on the 4th of July. With Tom Cruise. Matter of fact, I saw a video yesterday of Tom Cruise crossing the street, and he almost got run over by one of the big red buses, the double-deckers you see behind me. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying our little London set. Might be mixing in a little LA soon, so stay tuned as we keep evolving our set design here. Yeah, check it out. In terms of films, what else was popular? When Harry Met Sally, Dead Poets Society, which I talked about. That inspired me to talk about, the whole drinking thing. You could see that in a previous show. Twins, love that movie with Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. Lethal Weapon 2, and Batman came out that year too. What was going on in music land? Remember Duran Duran? They were rocking. Prince, Madonna. I mean, Madonna's been forever. New Kids on the Block were really big. Garth Brooks and Elvis Costello watching the detectives. My Aim is True. Love him. I remember him back in the 80s for sure when I was at Penn. When I graduated from Penn, he was really big. So he was pretty popular. Now, what happened in TV land? The Simpsons. Now, this is who released in 1989. They launched The Simpsons. Seinfeld. Awesome, right? One of the greatest. Saved by the Bell. Remember Baywatch? Yeah, Doogie Howser, MD. How about that? I mean, he was up for the running for most sexiest man alive this year. Not sure why. How about Coach? Launched that year. Cops launched that year. And America's Funniest Home Videos. Wow. Giving it to you quick, packing a punch here. So that's our show for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, stay tuned for tomorrow. It's going to be Friday. We're going to bring you a segment. We're going to start doing this, bringing you different segments, different interviews. Got some fun stuff lined up for you the rest of the month. So, hey, have an awesome day. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm Rich Tola. And remember, dreams do come true. But, hey, what do I know?